Then let's talk Mid-America real quickly. That event, of course, will go. That's going to be in Ada, of course, December 28th, 29th, 30th. Have they bracketed it yet at this point?
They still
haven't
haven't.
yet. Okay.
The middle of December is what they're telling us.
Okay.
They want to see some games before they seed
Sure.
it. So.
Well, I mean, and that's fair at that point.
It is. It just makes it tough to go scouting,
Right.
and kind of prepare for it. But.
Yeah, and from your standpoint, and I think I asked you this the last time we talked, but in terms of the teams that are in it, I know Washington's in it again. We mentioned there was a team out of Texas. What are some of the teams that are going to be the real deals in that one?
Well, boy, in that type of tournament,
everybody
is
yeah.
a good team. Dale and Preston are both there. They're both top 5 in 2A, and Washington, of course, is right there in the mix with us in 3A. And I haven't seen Ada, but I'm assuming that they're good. I know it's a hometown for them, so maybe they're not. I really don't know. I haven't seen them yet.
Sure.
Norman North's in it, another 6A school. So, and then Georgetown from Texas. It's a long drive.
It is.
I'm gonna probably get some film on that one.
Yeah, we mentioned that last time. Probably not going to get to scout that one as you go through. Obviously, then you have the Wheat Capital. You have the Tonkawa tournament later on in the year. As you go through the early portion of the schedule, and then you go through the Mid-America. That stretch is going to be pretty tough. I mean, obviously, typically when you go into December, you have a break to some degree, and then obviously with the Mid-America, that takes a little bit of that off of there because at the end of December you're going. How much are you going to, especially playing early on, to try to keep the legs fresh? How much can you do that at this stage when you go through a stretch like that?
We're trying to get in as good a shape as we can be right now.
Right.
And like you say, that's a brutal stretch. We go from the 28th, 29th, 30th, and we get a couple days off, and then we start back on the Monday, I believe, with Pond Creek, and then play Blackwell on the Tuesday, and then Wheat Capital on the Thursday. That's like 9 games in 13 days or 14 days, something like that. So that's a tough stretch for us, but we've done it before, and I say we've got a lot of new ones that are going to have to experience what that's like, but we'll get through it.
As you just kind of get yourself ready for this whole process, are you going to how do you think you're going to feel in this stage as you start the season? I mean, obviously it's going to be fun because you're going to be playing the games rather than just leading up to it.
Sure.
But what is your feeling as you kind of approach this first full season as being a head coach?
Well, it's just like you say, the expectations are high, and I hear that from a lot of people, but that's not a bad thing. I wouldn't want to be somewhere where there weren't expectations. So that part's exciting. We get to go to work every day and know what we're playing for. Everybody likes to say that we're playing for a state tournament or we're playing to get a gold ball, but we know that's the expectation and that we're capable. So it's exciting to go to work every day, and we've been having better and better practices here recently. I thought there for about 2 weeks there in October that we got kind of stagnant and flat and weren't really practicing real well, but the closer we get, the better our practices have gotten. So I'm excited to get started.
Dusty, appreciate it. I'm going to let you get going. We'll talk to some of the players, but I know everybody's looking forward to it. I know no more than you to actually get the games officially tipped off for sure.
No, thanks for having me.
All right, appreciate it. Dusty Horn talking with us as we talk Goldbug and Ladybug basketball. Let's take a quick timeout, and then we'll bring in a couple of Ladybug players, Jaden Hobbs and Whitney Randall will talk to us, and we'll do that when we come out of the timeout. It's all part of our Alva High preview show tonight here on 1430 KALV. Alva High basketball preview shows tonight. We just had a chance to talk to Ladybug head coach Dusty Horn. Now we bring in a couple of Ladybug players that are obviously going to be key to the season. Senior Jaden Hobbs, junior Whitney Randall. I apologize for the voice, ladies. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
How are we doing?
Good.
How's the ankle? Because I know you had issues with that, Whitney.
It's
okay?
Doing fine. It's all right.
Happened just today, though, right?
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
Yes.
Just like stepped on somebody?
Yeah, stepped on a foot. No big deal.
Tape it up,
Yep.
ice it, good to go. Don't have any trouble walking or anything like that.
No, it'll be fine.
Other than normal, I guess, walking. Jaden, I want to start with you as you get ready to open up your senior season. What does it mean to you when I say you're just about ready to start your senior season? I I don't know about anybody else, but I can still remember your first game as a freshman. It was at Blackwell as well, I believe. And now all of a sudden here you are as a senior. What's going through your mind at this stage?
I'm really excited, when they tell you it goes by fast, they're not lying.
Right.
It really does go by fast. And like you said, I can remember my first game.
Yeah.
It was at Blackwell. And, opening up my senior year at Blackwell too. So, I don't know. I'm really excited for this season. I'm excited for the juniors and sophomore and freshman girls to step up and kind of fill those shoes that we lost last year. But, just looking forward to everything.
This is, and we talked with Coach Horn about this as well. I think this is going to be a good group. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't think anybody's expecting it not to be. But it is going to be a different group. I know Whitney, I know everybody very very close to the seniors last year is what I'm trying to get at. That was a great group. We all know that. I think you guys are still very close. How do you then build up this younger group here that hasn't experienced as much on the court as that group has? How do you bring them in the mold and kind of bring them together to make this team go?
It's all about experience, really. We're getting a lot of team chemistry just by practicing all the time together and doing things outside the basketball floor.
Sure.
Getting along together outside the basketball gym and inside is just as important as anything. And so it's really all about the chemistry and getting that to a high level like it was last year. We had really good chemistry last year with the seniors. So I'm really excited.
Whitney, we're just kind of going back and forth here, but I want to get your thoughts. Your junior season, you've been a key contributor even since a freshman. You've come off the bench the last 2 years. This season you jump into the starting lineup. How much more do you look at yourself and say, I've got to be a leader even though I'm not, because there's only Jaden's the only senior on the team. So therefore, the juniors have to kind of step up in that leadership role. How do you get yourself ready to kind of put yourself in that level, I guess?
I just know that I have to be right behind Jaden. If Jaden's not doing well, I need to step up my game or talk to Jaden, and we just need to communicate with each other. And I know I definitely need to step up my game.
Yeah, do you guys, as much as an on-court thing, as an off-court thing, kind of embrace that leadership role? Because anytime you have a good team, you have leaders that step up. Is that something you guys are both really looking at?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
How do you feel like this group, at least through the early portion, the scrimmages, the practices, how do you feel like you guys are coming together, Whitney, from your perspective at this stage?
A lot better. October was, I wouldn't say awkward, but it was definitely different.
Sure.
It was so much different from last year. But November and this past couple weeks, we've gotten a lot better. October was kind of just different, not scaring me, but this month has been a lot better, and we're ready to get started.
One of the things, Jaden, that we've mentioned the chemistry of the group the last couple of years. One of the things that I've kind of marveled at is it feels like, the Ladybugs as a group really do get along. They get, I'm not saying there's probably not friction to some degree, but very rarely have I ever seen it, come out onto the court. You guys really seem like you spend a lot of time. You like each other. For the most part, right? Is that something you guys focus on too? Is making sure that as a team, you guys are as together as you can be?
Yeah, it's just as important to be best friends off the court as it is on the court.
Yeah.
You have to be able to trust each other, and I think we do a really good job of that. We're all really best friends anyways. Without basketball, we're all close friends. So I think that has a lot to do with it, and it helps out on the basketball floor a lot.
Jaden, I know it's been a couple of weeks, but you officially signed your letter with OSU, had the ceremony, all that. Does that seem like it's another thing of the senior type deal? You actually committed to them after your sophomore year, after the state tournament at that point, and have stayed committed. I don't think that's I'm assuming that hasn't wavered at any point, but then you actually got to signing day. What did that feel like for you?
It was awesome. It was a great feeling to actually get it down on paper, and
Sure.
that's when it really became real. I committed so young that I felt like it just kind of dragged out to the actual day that I could sign.
Did you have still people? Was there anybody still kind of throwing their? I mean, any other teams or anything still trying to get you, or did they just say no? You're fully committed.
I really didn't. Nobody really came at me like that. They all those the college coaches kind of respect everyone else. If they have a commit, they're not going to mess with them. So nobody came after me. I was committed the whole time.
Is that? I mean, have you always been an OSU fan? Is there anything? I mean, is that something from even a young girl as you thought might? I mean, in wildest dreams, whatever might have happened. Is that kind of fulfilling a dream from that standpoint?
Honestly, it really is. I can remember going to the Oklahoma State girls basketball camp or women's basketball camp when I was younger, when Coach Budke was there.
Okay, yeah.
So I can remember being there and being on the Gallagher-Iba and on the floor with all the players and stuff, and it just kind of started there, and it just kind of grew, and that's where I really wanted to go.
Well, and how I guess how good was it from the standpoint of, obviously, we lost Coach Budke way too soon, but Coach Littell just kind of slid right into that and seems like has really kept that program and has moved it in a very good direction. How important was that he was able to step in there and kind of fill that void?
It's really important, He's done a great job with the girls right now. I've seen them play a couple times this year, and they're looking really good. I don't believe they have lost yet.
No, I think they're still unbeaten.
I think so too. So.
Well, and interestingly enough, they've, you're going to be an Alva connection. There's an Alva connection there with Riley Swanson right now, so it's going to be really neat to kind of go back to back with Alva connections in Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I didn't ever get a chance to play with Riley. Obviously,
yes.
I actually played a little summer basketball tournament at the rec center with her one time when I was going to be a freshman.
Yeah.
But so her and I are friends. I just never really had the connection.
Yeah.
With her, but she does a good job. She lets me know how good things are going, and
good.
She's a great girl, and I'm really excited to be at Oklahoma State.
Whitney, is as you get yourself ready for this season, you've also been a player that's played AAU or you've played summer ball. It's been a big part of your life as well. What's that experience that you've gained, not only playing high school but then playing through the summer? How has that helped you become a better player?
I think it's really important to play summer basketball. I think it helps a lot. It just keeps you in the motion, keeps you in shape, and you learn a lot from summer basketball. Sometimes you even play harder teams in summer basketball.
Yeah.
I've been to Las Vegas.
That was a couple of years ago, right?
Yes, that was when I had my ankle sprained.
Yes, which was not a good thing. I know.
Not a good thing, no.
But I know the team did well in that.
Yes,
I think you won the whole thing, didn't you?
Yes, and we went to Chicago this past year. Okay. I think it's really good experience for girls to get that.
Is the brand of basketball, is it any different than what you see at the high school level? I guess, obviously they're almost all pretty good players if you're in that traveling team situation. What's the brand of basketball like as you play in the summer?
It's always more like, it's really fast-paced, just good teams, good girls, big girls, small girls, fast girls. There's a mixture of everyone, and it's just really good.
Again, I think from your standpoint, probably your game just gets better as you, especially if you play with top level talent. That helps you get better as well. Jaden, real quickly, and we'll let you guys go. You've always been, I think, even from a freshman standpoint, I've looked at you as a leader on the team. You've stepped in, and your career has spoken for itself at this stage. And I know you have more you want to accomplish with this season. You're going to take it one game at a time. But if I say to you, what do you want people to think of, when this is all over, when your Alva career is over as far as that goes, what's that going to mean to you when you've gone through the whole process and you're done as a Ladybug in terms of on the court? Maybe that's too big of a question right now, but what do you think that's going to feel like when you get to that stage?
I kind of want people to admire me kind of a little bit.
Sure.
And how I've played, and I honestly want to go down as the best 4-year teams that Alva's ever had.
Yeah.
We've won back-to-back, obviously, but right now I have a goal, and for our first goal, obviously, is to get better each day, and then I'll set my goals a little higher. We'll try to win the Bertha Teague, and then we'll go to win regionals and then make it to state and then obviously win state championship. So I'm really focused on setting goals and achieving those as a team, not really as a person or as an individual. I feel like I've done that already. So
Sure.
I'm really focused on getting more focused on the team and the team goals and achieving those.
Do you feel like, though, that there may be times this year that you have to step outside yourself a little bit? And, I mean, you've had games where you've scored a lot of points. And I'm not saying you got to go out and score 30 points a game. I don't think you do. But is there going to be games this year maybe where you in your mind say, I've just got to pick it up? I mean, how does that – is that a game-by-game scenario?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's not really one game specifically that I just feel like I have to be everything. I really have confidence in my teammates that they will back me up on anything and not have to put me in that situation.
Sure.
But if I am in that situation, I'll try my hardest and do what I can to get my team to win.
Whitney, one final question for you. Do you feel like this is going to be any different for you stepping in and being a starter as opposed to coming off the bench? I mean, you've basically been, first person off the bench, since you've been a freshman. Do you feel like it's going to be any different that you're coming from a starter standpoint?
I don't think so. I think it's just different from the team because last year we'd get a lot of more energy from Callie and I going.
Sure.
And since I won't be coming off the bench, I just hope that we get the energy that they had last year from the bench.
Absolutely. Guys, appreciate it. Great interview. Thanks for taking time.
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Good luck for the season.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it. All right, our thanks to Jaden Hobbs and Whitney Randall, a couple of Ladybug players talking to us on our Alva High basketball preview show. Let's take another time out. We'll get ready to flip the script and talk Goldbug basketball with Coach Duncan, a couple of Alva players coming up as well. This is our Alva High preview show here on KALV. And welcome back to Champ Sports and Spirits here on 1430 KALV. Craig Killman along with you. Just wrapped up our talk about Ladybug basketball with Coach Duncan. Of course, talked to Jaden Hobbs and Whitney Randall as those young ladies get ready for the basketball season. Now we bring in Alva Goldbug head coach, Mr. Paul Duncan. Sir, how are you?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
I'm good. About ready to open up year number 5 as the Goldbug
I think
head
that's
coach.
Right.
Anything feel different for you after coming into your 5th season at the helm of the program as you get ready to tangle with Blackwell tomorrow night or Friday night?
Well, you would hope that it gets a little easier each year because you don't have as much reteaching to do about some things because your kids should know what you want and expectations, and so it makes practice go a little bit faster. We've had about 10 practices since football's been over with.
Right.
So
had just the one scrimmage at Winoka. You were going to be at Clinton, and that was
just kind of icy, so we decided not to go. But kids have picked up things quicker because they've been through it, and so that makes it a lot better. And after you've been here a few years, so just tweaking some things and trying to get football players in shape. It takes 4 or 5 weeks to get their cardio going, and
it's a different animal to some degree. And I mean, obviously football is very physical, but it's a different
kind of contact. And I would say basketball is a contact sport and football is a collision sport.
Yeah.
And so we got to get the collision out of there. And, but we're going to try to build on the success that they had and build on the success that we've had the 4 years before that and go play. So
as you go through, you've gone through the preseason, you're ready to hook it up. You've got a group that's going to, like the Ladybugs, is going to look a bit different. You had 5 seniors last year that were all very key contributors, to what you guys did. You got 2 essentially starters coming back in Jeremiah Bozeman and Tevin Long, who we'll talk to here in a bit. But then you've got 3 other positions essentially up for, and more coming off the bench. But you got 3 other starters that you're having to kind of work in. Give me your idea on how that early process is going, just kind of filling out the lineup.
Well, like I said, we're going to depend on those 2 guys sitting behind me. Hopefully that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We've got 2 guys back that have scored a lot of points and been big parts of what we're doing for a couple years now. But they're even going to have different roles because, Bozeman's going to see the best defender, whereas the best defender was probably guarding Trevor last year. And Tevin probably got the 5th defender, and he's going to get the 2nd defender on him now.
Sure.
So they're going to have some different things. much like Whitney will have to adjust on the girls team that you talked to earlier. But after those other guys that are on there, I mean, you could pretty much make a case for all of them to get playing time Friday night. And so I think we've gained some depth, but it's still feeling each other out and just not really sure,
right.
to how those guys are going to respond whenever it's
the lights are on.
The lights are on, and the other
sure.
team wants the basketball, and
sure.
And because you can try to go hard in practice, and your kids can go hard, but it's still never going to be game-like in practice. And so a lot of growing up to do there, but it's exciting. I think we have some kids that can fill some roles and play off of these two. And these two are really unselfish kids, so that helps out. And I think our program as a whole has come to understand that unselfishness is why we're winning, and we'll continue to do that. So.
How much do you I guess how big do you envision your, I don't want to say bench, but your list of guys that are gonna be key contributors? What is there a number that you'd like to have at this point?
I think we could play 10 or 12 guys.
Okay, that's what.
Last year we were going to play 7, 7.5, maybe 8.
Yeah.
But we could play 10 or 12 nightly. Some of it may depend on, we got different roles for different guys. We got some guys that come off the bench that they can shoot the basketball, and so if they come in and make a couple, then they're probably going to continue to get to play. And
sure.
If they're not on, then they may not get to. We may have kids that play really well in the 5 o'clock JV game, and so hey, maybe they need to get a little more time in the 8 o'clock game, and
sure.
So our JV game should be a little bit more competitive. But
yeah.
I said something about it. I think our JV team's going to be pretty good the other day. And Bozeman said, "Coach, our JV team's pretty good every year. We don't
yeah.
we don't lose very many JV games."
No.
Well, me and Coach Horn was talking about that. Well, maybe that's why we're winning 20 games at the varsity level too, because
sure.
we got good kids coming. So expectations are always going to be high, and our kids understand that. And it all starts with those two, and specifically Bozeman's. His work ethic on his own, and it's filtered off to those other kids. And
I thought it was, it's always, preseason rankings, accolades, they don't typically mean everything, but I thought it was very cool. Obviously, we figured Jaden Hobbs would be a VIPE top 100 player. She was, but Jeremiah was, and very deservedly so, being a part of that VIPE top 100 list. I thought, it's nice to see an Alva Goldbug player be on that list.
Yeah, he had a couple good summers playing with his AAU team and then playing with us, but he just worked so hard and got a chance to be that. I think OK Preps, he got some recognition with them as well over the summer, and this fall was in a photo shoot with them, and so that's a pretty big deal, top 100 for the VIPE, and they came out with their preseason magazine, and although we weren't ranked in their top 20 in the preseason magazine, he was ranked in the top 5 on the Class 3A team, so that says a lot about him, and but he knows that we need to win games for him to get that notoriety, and that's why he got it now, is because we won games. So, and he's got a goal of getting us to the state tournament, and moving back up to 3A, which I'm sure we'll cover, is a little more difficult. But I like my group. We've got a little bit of mix of size and a little bit of mix of speed, and we're going to be able to play different ways. And
that was kind of going to be my next question. This is. Offense, defense going to look a bit different to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's team was very heavily offensive-oriented, shot the basketball. I'm not saying we won't shoot this year either, but do you envision this being a different defensive unit than you had a year? Maybe a more balanced unit. Is that a fair enough assessment?
Yeah, I think we'll be better defensively than we were last year, and not that we weren't good defensively, but we didn't have the size to go compete with some people, and in a couple of our losses, that was why, just because the bottom line is we couldn't cover their bigs.
Sure.
Perry's a big example of that.
Yes.
But we got, Grant, Ritter, Ridge, Harsman, who's 2 bills now. He's probably our strongest kid. We can match up a little bit in there.
I tell you, Ridge is another kid that's gotten really strong. I mean, a lot stronger, I think you can tell from.
So we can match up in there a little bit. Still not going to score a whole lot in there. Those guys really aren't just big scorers, but defensively we'll play some man and we'll play some zone and extend a little bit. And then when I go small with those sophomores, we can really extend defensively because they can really get after you.
Sure.
So we'll be able to throw some different looks. I think one of the things that was people didn't really realize about last year's group is we won games in the 40s and we won games in the 80s.
Yes.
We were really mature. It was a group that could play fast or slow.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this group gains that maturity that, hey, some nights you got to score 80 to win and some nights you can score 40 to win. And you have to make adjustments and play. But I do think we're going to be able to control the game defensively a little bit better than we did last year. Last year, like you said, we kind of controlled it offensively.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that we can still control it offensively.
Sure.
There's going to be some nights where I think you're going to say, man, it's pretty much looks like last year's team.
Yeah.
We're driving and kicking and shooting, and I don't know that we're going to make 11 threes a game like we did last year, but I think we can make 7 or 8 or 9 a game. But
yeah.
We probably won't make 13 and a half very often, and we did that a few times last year.
Yes, we did.
But we probably won't. But I'm telling you, we got some guys that can shoot the ball, so it'll be a lot similar to last year than you think. But defensively, I think we'll be a lot better.
Let's talk rankings a bit. We kind of hinted at that a little bit. 3A boys rankings came out. We were ranked 18th according to the OSSAA, and I've just lost my rankings. But here we go. They have us in the top 20 at number 18. Anything? I think I hinted a little bit to when we talked at football several weeks ago, whatever.
Yep.
But Heritage Hall preseason ranked number 1. They won 3A a year ago. That wasn't a surprise. Atoka was the state tournament team, very good. They're number 2. Verdigris 3. Centennial 4. Sequoia Tahlequah 5. Anything surprise you about maybe at least the top 10 rankings wise?
No, I mean you got Heritage Hall, who's always going to be good. They beat up Lawton somebody last night, I think, by 30, and Atoka was in the semis, and they got probably the best post kid in 3A back. Verdigris was in the finals, and they're really good. We played them a couple times this summer. Centennial is always going to be good. I don't know, Sequoia should be 5. Sperry's pretty good, scored 91 last night. Millwood will always be good. Adair's still in football, but they got all 5 guys back from an area finals team.
Right.
Marlowe's got athletes. We saw them this summer. Kingston I think that's Weebner down there.
Yeah.
Name from the past. Alva,
nice,
they're going to be good. Lincoln's going to be good. Hennessy State Tournament, they got their best 2 back. Riverside's got kids. They can go.
Yeah, I saw Riverside put up 90-some last night, I think.
So I think OCS got one of the new Thunder coach's kids, I think, can play. Just one of them, I think. I think the other ones went to McGinnis. But
gotcha.
And then Washington's got a 6'7", 6'8" kid that's pretty good. So, I mean, top to bottom, it's tough. I think that once you get down there, though, probably after 15, it starts weakening up pretty quick, where I think 2A probably doesn't weaken up till you get to about 30 overall. Now, I think those top 10 teams are much better than those top 10 teams in 2A.
Right, exactly.
But so that really matters when you get to the playoffs because, like, last year Chisholm goes to the area tournament through the losers bracket, and we were better than them.
Right.
Yes. Hennessy goes to state tournament. I think we would have been better than Hennessy.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's some things playoff-wise that are a little bit different than 2A. There's not as many good teams in those loser bracket games in 3A as there are in 2A. So depending upon your road. And it's being back in 3A, I've been out for a year, so they don't know us and we don't know them. So as far as the rankings go, it's kind of tough till you get to Christmas and you get to play some people. So
sure.
We had a good summer, though, and so we made some waves. I mean, Verdigris has put us at number 9, I think, because we played them tough twice this summer. So some of those East Side guys that got to see us at Frontier have given us some
good.
love.
That's great experience for you guys to see those teams, too.
Played those at Frontier, and then we went over to OBU team camp that we go to every summer. And last summer they had a little tournament at the end, and we won it last year, and then we turned around and won it again this year.
Yes.
Dale, who's probably ranked in the top 10 in 2A, they beat us 30 one morning at 8 o'clock, and we come back and beat them in the finals in overtime, I believe. And so it was fun. But we'll just see these guys will grow, and it'll be fun to watch them. And I really feel like our teams are always fun to watch play. They play hard, and they play unselfishly, and they represent Alva well on and off the floor, and I think they'll continue to do that. And these 2 guys right here are great examples, and our other 2 seniors as well, Ridge and Josh, are great examples on and off the floor, and they come to play, so it'll be fun.
Let's talk schedule for you guys as well. Obviously, Blackwell on Friday. Blackwell Alva boys, always a pretty good battle. Give me just that's just an early preview. Coach Valerius still over there, I think.
Yes.
And I know he does a good job, but give me your initial thoughts on that first game Friday night.
Oh, same thing as always. We've got better basketball players than Blackwell does, but they can match us with athletes, and then they just play so hard. They're probably one of the hard playing teams that we play during the season.
They're a physical team.
And they just make it ugly, and they don't let you get into any flow, and we're kind of a flow team. So I think since we've played them probably 10 times since I've been here, we probably only blew them out once. Most of the rest of the games have been single-digit games, and so I'm hoping that, and Coach Valeris was worried about this because we got to go over there and play in the playoffs last year and just shot the dog out of it over there for 3 nights. And I think we scored 85-plus 3 times in a row.
Yeah, we did.
And he was like, man, that might have been the worst thing ever happened. And so I hope our guys have some confidence shooting the ball over there now. But it's always been tough. We've been to overtime over there to win, and it's been, they're just a team that's going to play hard. They've already got a game under the belt. They beat Fairview about 10 the other night at Fairview. So, and Bud does a great job. And but it'll be, it'll be a good game and be a good opener for us. And then we'll see about Chisholm on Tuesday. That depends on football. And then we seeded the Pond Creek tournament today.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Pond Creek. You guys seeded 3rd.
Got the 3rd seed. I don't know. Pond Creek got the 1 seed. They're going to be good. They went state tournament last year, got everybody back but 1. Glencoe's a 3-time Class A state champions. They got the 2 seed, and I'm okay with both of those. I knew where I was going to be 1, 2, or 3, and I'm okay with both of those. If I had a disappointment, it'd just be that we didn't get any 1 seed votes from any of the coaches.
Any of them,
and we don't play those guys except for Pond Creek, so but we'll worry about that next Thursday, motivation-wise, and we'll play Kremlin Hilldale the first round, and they're not bad.
Okay.
And then we'll play Glencoe in the semifinals. Again, like I said, 3-time state champions, so they're going to be pretty good, and therefore fortunate to get to Saturday. It'll be Pond Creek, and so that'll actually end up being 2 good games for us,
Sure.
And so it'll be good. I'm sure that gym will be packed. It's kind of small, and our fans will travel hopefully, and they always do.
It is interesting. It's we haven't played a varsity tournament at Pond Creek, but we have played at the Pond Creek tournament.
Yes, we have.
The JV has played there. Both boys and girls have gone over there in previous years. So it's not Greasy Steve's right behind
Steve.
us. He's pretty famous because of shooting in that
right
gym.
There. So I started that out, I think.
I know,
and now football coaches are calling him that. Everybody.
And
I think he pretty much even got that written on his new shoes he ordered for basketball.
Well, his
season.
Twitter handle says Greasy Steve.
There you go. So it's I ate there 2 nights ago. It'll be good, and I don't know if it'll be a 1-year thing or if it'll be a multi-year thing. We're not really sure yet. Coach Gale's working on schedules, and but it was a good fit for us with the KOFM folding, and it was a good fit for us, especially with the JV girls being able to go, and so it just ended up being a good fit, and it's close, and so it'll be good. And then Weatherford and Fairview, the other 2 games before. The Weatherford boys are going to be good.
I saw they blew out Elk City last night.
They're going to be good. We're playing them twice now, and then Fairview is big, 6'6", 6'7". They're big, so that's always going to be a good one. And but pretty good schedule before Christmas. So I think Chisholm boys will be good, even if they, if we don't play them then down the road, but. Because they got everybody back, and so it'll be our schedule's tough, with Weatherford twice and Woodward twice, and the 3 tournaments we play in, and
Tonkawa late in the year we'll play them.
They scored 88 the other night.
Yep. Well, they gave us fits in one of the games we played them last year. We blew them out in one, but they've got some. I think they got everybody
it'll
back.
be we'll shoot the ball, and I really feel like that these 2 guys behind me are going to be really good, and I really feel like Bozeman's got a chance to be the best player on the floor every night, and he's got to play with that swag. Number 5 last year played with that swag.
Yes, he did.
And there's a little bit of difference between confidence and that swag, and you got to get to that swag part, and Bozeman's had that lately, and Tevin's been guarding him lately, and he knows he's had it because he's been a tough guard. So we're excited about getting started.
Real quick, this is just more for my benefit. I'm kind of interested in it. I kind of want your take on Coach Horn taking over the Ladybug program, and the reason I ask you this question is I know you know him very well.
Yes.
He's been your assistant both in basketball and then also in softball.
Yes, sir.
What have you? What are the things that you would give him in terms of, I mean, I guess I'm looking at a different question. Does it make you think back to your first year of coaching, and now he's going into his first year of coaching? Is there any parallels that you give to him in terms of words of wisdom, whatever that might be, to kind of, I know it's a pretty broad question there, but for a guy that you know pretty well, that you like, that's getting his first coaching job this year?
I think I would say first and foremost, and Coach Smith in the mix as well, that, since I have a daughter playing, it's important to me that my daughter plays for somebody that I would want them to play for.
Sure.
And there's plenty of guys out there that I've coached against and that I know and that are friends that I would not want my daughter or my son playing for.
Yeah.
And both of those guys are guys that I'd want my daughter to play for. So, because they both are good role models and take care of the kids. So, but like you said, Coach Horn and I we've put a few miles together down the road. And
absolutely.
I don't know that advice will be given. I think it's more if he asks, then I'll give it. But he's pretty smart, and he's paid attention, and he's had a few different guys that he's worked for, back to Coach Lav, and then Coach Dollar, myself, and Coach Smith. So he's seen some different things, and has picked and choose what he liked and what he didn't like.
Sure.
And he's going to make his own stamp on the program. But we throw things around, but it goes the other way too.
Sure.
I'm never too old to learn and ask for his advice too about how things are. And so I think he's going to do a great job. He's just one of the better guys. He was the best assistant I ever had. Hopefully he's not listening, but
yeah.
So that's a good thing. And I think the continuity with the program is going to be good. The girls respect him. He's done a good job in practice. He's going to have some things that he's going to have to work on, and he knows that. And I've got things I need to work on, but as Coach Dollar would say, I've been doing this for 25 years,
right.
So I got a pretty good idea of what works and what doesn't, and so I can help him out along the way. But and he's going to have some road bumps, and the girls are going to have some road bumps, just like the guys will.
Yeah. It's a long season when you think about it. Put them all together.
I think that he's got great support from everybody, players, parents, other coaches, administrators, and so he's going to do just fine. But he's definitely not afraid to ask, for thoughts from me or Coach Sheaver or Coach Smith, and that's a good thing because some guys don't have that. They're not humble enough to want to get answers. So, but I'm looking forward to watching him.
Okay, here's another. How jealous are you that he gets his first head coaching job? And I just want you to think back to your first head coaching job, and maybe you had a great player in your first head coaching job. You don't have to name anybody, but he gets his first head coaching job, and I'm not biased at all, but she's the best player in the state, Jaden Hobbs. He gets to jump in with the best player in the state.
Yeah,
is there any jealousy going on there?
I'm jealous of those rings that my daughter has that I don't have. But,
of course.
I think he knows that some of those road bumps that he's going to hit as a coach, she's going to take care of some of those, and she's going to iron some of those things out. Now, there's going to be some nights that they're both going to have to iron things out, but she's going to be able to carry a little bit and help him out along the way. And my first head coaching job, I was about his age, and looking back, and I've told him this, it was probably the best team that I've ever had.
Okay.
But I didn't know it at the time because I didn't have any idea what was going on.
Right,
I just jumped in there, and I'd been assistant for 4 years, and there I went. And I really feel like if I had that team now, I'd have a chance to compete for a gold ball because they were that good, but I didn't really know it at the time. And so I'm trying to make sure but since he has that top-rated player, I think it'll be a little easier transition.
Yeah, I don't think people understand the differences between – okay, you're an assistant. Now all of a sudden you're the head coach, and everything now that goes into that. Putting the whole program together.
Oh yeah, I mean we'll go into specifics. And we've had some conversations where he's like, yeah, when I was assistant, I thought that was easy to make that decision, but now that I'm making that decision, it's everything from who gets uniforms to who's traveling to who's starting to you're in charge of all that, and it's like. Man, I thought as assistant it was a little easier to get that done, but it's not. And then the volume of paperwork that you have that you don't have as assistant, and in charge of scouting, and just all kinds of all kinds of things that go on that you have to do. And but he's got a good support system with his parents, and so that's going to help out. And Mr. Potter's awesome, and Coach Gale's awesome, and Mr. Parker's are awesome to help with. And but yeah, it'll be fun watching him grow, just like it'll be fun watching both teams grow. Because there's some growth going to go on. But yeah, she's going to help out just a little bit.
I think so. I have a tendency to
I
think
tried
that.
to get her to play a couple of quarters for me last year because she only played a half sometimes. But Coach Smith never would let her play. But it's going to be fun watching her, and of course being a Cowboy.
Hey, you and
I'm
I
excited
both
about that.
Very
you betcha.
happy about
I never noticed that. We sit here every time we talk, and I never noticed that Stacey King rookie card over there before. But we may have to change tables in the future.
I know, yeah. Or let's get an OSU memorabilia.
But a quick story about him: when 1988, they were the #1 team in the nation. It was the year after they got beat by Kansas in the finals, and they came to Gallagher-Iba. I was a junior there, and they were #1, and we beat them 77-73, and I stormed the court. And that's the only time I stormed the court as a college student was when we beat them. They were #1 in the country and beat them 77-73. So that's a great memory for me. And
absolutely.
And all you people that say don't storm the court of the field, you ain't ever done it. If you've done it, you want to do it. So
absolutely.
We appreciate you guys, you and Ron, and we're looking forward to seeing Ron Friday.
Yeah,
and
you will
we'll
not
see
see
you.
me
We'll see
Friday.
you on Tuesday, or we may not see
Warrior
you until December 15th, which will be our first home game. But we're looking forward to it. Hopefully, all those Goldbug and Ladybug fans that travel with us and go places are ready to go. And we love our fans, and they do a great job, and just a great community with both the labor auctions. We're able to take care of our kids.
That's
and
awesome.
We're excited about that. And just the support that we get is amazing, and hopefully these two kids talking here will do what they need to do on the floor to deserve that support. So,
Coach, appreciate it as always. Look forward to working with you through the season.
You betcha, and just to give a shout out to my sister and my mom listening on radio.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Wilson, if you're still there.
Hey,
Thank
good
you.
deal. All right, thanks to Coach Duncan joining us as part of our Alva High basketball preview show tonight. Let's take another time out. We'll bring in a couple of Goldbug players. We'll talk to two big seniors. Tevin Long and Jeremiah Bozeman will join us next. We're talking Goldbug basketball here on 1430 KALV. Welcome back to our coverage of our Alva High basketball preview show tonight. Craig Killman along with you. We're live here at Champ Sports and Spirits in Alva. We just talked to Goldbug head coach Paul Duncan, now bringing in a couple of Goldbug players, seniors Jeremiah Bozeman and Tevin Long. Fellas, how are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Jeremiah, I'll start with you since I talk to Tevin all the time.
Okay.
You know, he's been on this like 8,000 times for football, and I told you he can do my job better than I can, I'm sure. But senior year for you, Jeremiah. It became an interesting senior year for you, obviously, with your dad, Eric, being the coach of the Lady Rangers and taking a job back in late August, early September in Mississippi, making that move. I actually talked to him. I told you this off air right before Thanksgiving and had a good conversation with him. But I just wanted to get your perspective on that. That had to be an interest. And you're a son of a coach, so I know that's not the first job he's ever had where he's gone different places. But when that came up, what did that feel like?
It was definitely a big change for me because all my life I've had him to take me to the gym and work me out since I was about 3 or 4. We'd go to the gym and put in work, and just to have him leave, I've definitely had to grow up and try and do things on my own a little bit more and make sure I go at the same pace that he would push me. And
he told me that it was essentially your decision if you wanted to stay, finish your senior year. You have. I feel like since you stepped on the program have really fit well with Alva. Not, you can tell me your perspective of it, but how much did that play a factor in you wanting to stay? I mean, the guys, the relationships you built, being with Coach Duncan, whatever, was there a time you thought, now I may go, or did you always think you were going to stay?
I knew I always wanted to stay, but I didn't know whether or not we would go as a family or not. But I knew I always wanted to stay because I love it here, and the program's great. The community supports us so much, and it's just a great situation to be in, especially for me as a basketball player. So.
Well, you have grown up a lot, not just physically, but just I remember seeing you the first time on the basketball court, a little skinny kid, and I mean, you've certainly become a very good overall basketball player, physically and mentally as well. So I felt like, as I said, from kind of day one, you fit right in the mold of the basketball the Alva program. It seemed like it was a seamless transition for you. It seemed like it anyways.
Yeah, it was great for me to move here and grow up in this system. I really feel like this is the best basketball I've ever played and had the most fun playing. And it's really just been fun playing for Coach Duncan and playing with all my teammates and just learning a lot and trying to make sure we can get better as a team.
Tevin, I'm going to come over to you. I don't want you to think I forgot about you or
All
anything. But, we've had a chance to talk through football. Now we talk through basketball. You're getting ready to start senior year basketball. How strange is that this process has gotten so – I've talked to your mom and dad both about this, how fast everything's going from you guys' perspective. But, does it seem strange that now you're getting ready to put the basketball hat on for the rest of the year?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Time flies and you don't realize it. We were just in football, and now all of a sudden you blink and it's basketball season. So, I don't know. I'm definitely excited. First game coming up, and I don't know. I'm just excited to get on the court with Jeremiah and the rest of my teammates and see what happens.
Give me your thoughts on this year's group. You and Jeremiah, 2 starters coming back, obviously had a lot of experience from last year's team. Lost 5 really good seniors, obviously, off of last year's team. But now you guys are the ones that everybody's going to look up to, and I know there are other seniors as well. But how much more of a leadership role do you in particular take as you get ready to open up your senior year?
Oh, me and Jay are definitely going to have some bigger shoes to fill this year with the seniors graduated last year. And I don't know, I think me and him, take it upon ourselves to try to be the best motivators and leaders on the team, and just kind of encourage the rest of our teammates to, pick it up and get it going. And I think we're doing a pretty good job so far, and I think we're going to have a pretty good season.
How do you feel about that leadership role, Jeremiah? I mean, you took over I felt like last year your role expanded a lot, obviously, even though Trevor was still there. But you two kind of both took a lot of the mold. But how much more does that fall on you guys now, you and Tevin in particular, to put total pressure on yourself? But you've got to go out and perform kind of night in, night out.
It's definitely been different. Last year we had Trevor, and he would usually lead us and talk to us and stuff like that. So now we have to fill that role and be the guy that everybody looks to and kind of comes to with their problems or on and off the court. And just we try and help them as best we can to be those guys that they look up to, just like we've had the past 4 years. So it's definitely been good for us.
Tevin, I want to get your thoughts on the chemistry of this team right now. I feel like and I talked with Coach Duncan, he feels like this is a group that can be maybe even a lot deeper than last year. I mean, that more players could probably fit in the mix in terms of playing. But what do you guys feel like in terms of your overall chemistry as a team as you get ready for that first game in a couple of nights?
I think our chemistry is good. I think we all get along with each other, and I feel like that's going to carry over to the court, and we're going to have a lot of trust with each other. And the guys coming in off the bench, I think they're going to fill their role and do a good job.
Do you feel like this team has a chance to be a little bit more physical with some of those big guys, like maybe whether it be a Grant Ritter or whether it be some of those guys that can provide kind of a physical lift? Does that look like what we'll?
I think Ritter will do a good job. I think Harsman will definitely do a good job, and so will Ridge. I mean, they're some strong kids and definitely big kids, compared to what we had last year. We're starting all 5 short kids, that could shoot. But, I think we'll be a lot better against the bigger teams this year.
Yeah. Do you feel like, and we mentioned this as well, do you feel like this team, offense, defense, is there a balance you're looking for this year to be maybe overall a little bit better defensive team, but not saying you don't want to score points, but more of a balance there?
Yeah, I think we're doing a lot of defensive drills, and I think that our defense will definitely be one thing that will keep us in a lot of games, and I think defense is definitely going to be important for us this year.
Jeremiah, real quickly, I want to get your thoughts, and I talked to Coach Duncan about this as well, but, and I know basketball is a team game. You play for your team. You do that. But you've had a chance because of basketball to get some preseason accolades, being on the VIPE Top 100, OK Preps, and things like that. I'm not, at this point, I know you're not necessarily looking for all that, but has it been kind of nice to get some of that recognition as you get ready for your senior season? Did you expect any of that to some degree? Or
I didn't expect any of it up until this point, and it was really nice to have to finally see my hard work pay off and be rewarded for that. So it was a good time for me this spring and summer, and even in the fall with the vibe shoot and stuff like that. So it was great for me. I really had fun with all that stuff.
I know you're a basketball gym rat. I know you love the game. And it's I'm sure it's too early. I even asked your dad about this as well. But do you have a thought process on what you want to do? Do you want to play basketball beyond this? Is that something? Well, I'm pretty sure it is something you're looking at. But give me your. I know you're focused on this season, but once everything's done with, do you give thought to what your future is going to be in terms of basketball?
I absolutely want to play basketball in college. I'm blessed enough to have gotten 2 Division II offers.
Great.
Up to right now, so I just want to try and keep working hard and get better every day, and in hopes of trying to get more and maybe realize my dream of playing in college one day. So.
Did your dad have any chance to get you at his new job?
We'll see. I don't really think so. I never really wanted to play for my dad, and he.
Well, I'll be honest. Yeah, he told me the same thing. He said I've never really wanted to coach him, in actual games. But is that? I mean, is that a thought process that might happen to some degree? Or?
Yeah, we'll see. It's definitely an option if he's willing to take me. But, we'll see. So it's definitely an option. So.
It is nice to have options though, and at least to have areas where you think you're going to go.
Yeah.
To some degree. Tevin, I haven't really talked to you about this. Do you have aspirations of playing college? Or you're a 3-sport guy basically, obviously football, basketball, baseball. But I mean, is that a thought process you go to as you get ready for your last few stages of your senior year?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if I get lucky enough to maybe get some offers. I definitely like to, but as of right now, I'm just kind of going out and playing and seeing what's happening and living in the moment.
That's the only way to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Guys, you were fantastic. You're welcome anytime. You just take the headsets. Maybe in the game you can just talk while I'm going on.
A little halftime report or
Absolutely. You guys did great. Appreciate it. And, man, really looking forward to the season.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Craig.
All right. Our thanks to Tevin Long, Jeremiah Bozeman. Great job on the radio. Alva's got some good kids when it comes to that, no doubt about it. So appreciate them for taking time with us as part of our Alva High basketball preview show. I've actually not quite done yet. I know this has been a fairly lengthy program. We're going to bring in Ron Sunderland, though, and get his take because he is going to be calling the Alva Goldbug and Ladybug games on Friday night at Blackwell. We'll take a quick timeout, come back and have my partner Ron Sunderland join us next. It's our Alva High basketball preview show here on KALV. Welcome back for our final segment, our Alva High basketball preview show here on 1430 KALV. You know what? I wish I'd looked at my phone a little bit earlier, Ron. I had a text message from Todd Miller. He was going to ask me to ask Bozeman about losing to him in horse twice. Todd Miller beat Jeremiah Bozeman twice in horse. I've at least got it on the record that I've said this on the radio. I didn't ask Jeremiah, but
2 out of 200's not bad, I guess.
Yeah, I can't imagine it was more than that. I mean, goodness gracious, that this I know Todd fancies himself a good shooter, but Jeremiah must have been taking it easy on him. Right?
Yeah, or else it was like, what was it, the Larry Bird and can't remember who it was, off the radio tower through
Michael
the window.
Jordan,
through the window and off the bleachers and all that. It could have been like that.
It very well could have been. Ron, we appreciate you for coming in for a segment here.
Bet.
You and I are going to get a chance to call a lot of Alva games throughout the course of this year, but first game, I'm afraid I have to
I know.
leave you alone for that one.
And even though you get to go on the road with the Rangers, I know it's just tearing you up not to be there for the opener for the Goldbugs and Ladybugs, but being with the Rangers in Arkansas is a great deal too. So I know you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I want to get your thoughts real quickly on Ladybugs and Goldbugs. We're going to talk a lot about it this season, but both teams ranked. Ladybugs ranked preseason number 1 in 3A. I admit to being a little bit surprised about that. I'm not totally surprised, but maybe a little bit just in terms of going up from 2A to 3A. Boys were ranked 18th in their poll, but it's interesting when you look at Alva teams. Both are obviously very highly thought of.
Well, you're right, and I was a little bit surprised too when the 3A rankings came out. And I don't know if Coach Horn mentioned this, but in 2A, you look at Dale and Latta and Fairview and Wright City and Alva.
Yeah.
That's
Preston
maybe
probably in the
Preston.
Next, yeah.
That's probably 3 or 4 teams that are really going to challenge you very heavily in Class 2A. When you jump up to 3A, that 3 or 4 teams jumps now to 6 or 7 teams, you know, that are right there and can give you a big challenge. But, you know, that's the thing about the Ladybugs, whether they're in 2A or 3A a couple of years ago.
They've proven they can win
you
both.
Know, you got to go beat them all anyway, and it doesn't matter whether you're playing in 2A or 4A or where you're playing, you know. And I think these girls now expect that.
Yeah.
They expect that success now, and that's hard a lot of times to get through a bunch of, you know, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids' minds but they have that quality now where they expect to be there the first weekend of March. And you know, if they take care of business, they will be.
It helps to have Jaden Hobbs.
Absolutely,
I feel like that's going to be a good barometer. I'll ask you this question. Did you have a player of Jaden Hobbs' caliber your first year?
Oh, absolutely not.
Job?
No, absolutely
so
not.
you're a little jealous of Coach Horn too.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. But you know, I think the decision to put Coach Horn in that position was I felt like probably about the only option, which we had some very, very, very good candidates for that. But the continuity it brings and the familiarity and you know, these girls go out and they're going to play hard for him, and they know him and they know what he expects, and you know, he has a lot higher expectations than a lot of people would be just because he's been around these girls for so long and he knows what they can do. And you know, I think he's going to do a really good job, and I'm really excited to see him this season.
I am too, absolutely. Real quick, and then we'll let you get out of here. You know, not a whole lot of previewing we can do for Alva Ladybugs against Blackwell. I mean, I don't want to totally step off the map there, and I know Coach Horn did it, but that should be a very, you know, relatively routine win, you would think, on Friday night. But I'll tell you, I am looking forward to that boys matchup because Alva Blackwell boys always is a good matchup. It's very rare that there's anything that's, you know, blown away in that one. So that one, I think, will tell us some really good things about our boys early going on the road over there on Friday.
You know, for Blackwell, Metter's a senior. He started for 4 years. Wicker's a senior. What's the other? I just looked at these guys today, and I can't remember the other guy's name. But they've got guys who have been 3- and 4-year starters stepping, and they were very good last year.
Yes.
We saw that both times we faced them, you know. And since Coach Valerius has been there for several years now, and just kind of like what we talk about here, the continuity of having somebody in place for 3 years now just helps those guys. I mean, it's a lot like Chisholm in football right now.
Yes.
This is Joey Reinert's 6th year. These seniors are the first kids he had, or 7th year. These seniors are kids that he's had all the way through.
Yes.
They know what to expect, and continuity, I think, means a lot in whether you're looking at basketball or football or whatever it might be, just because you know what the expectations are, you know what the coaches expect from you, you know what to expect from your coaches. And, you know, I think that's a big thing. Even though Coach Horn is a new head coach, the familiarity's there. And now Coach Duncan comes in for his 5th year, I believe. And, you know, that says a lot. That says a lot for those programs, and it really helps you out to have that type of continuity, not having to learn a new system every other year.
Makes a difference.
Absolutely.
Ron, we very much looking forward to working with you again. Football was great. We had a nice playoff appearance for the Goldbugs.
A nice cold playoff.
It was cold, but we're warmed up.
At least we're not going to have to sit on top of any press boxes.
No,
in
basketball-wise, we're not going to be.
We may sit in the stands with the enemy, but we won't be.
We might be outside in the lobby, but you know, for the most part, we'll be inside.
Okay, good deal.
Ron, looking forward to it. Good luck to you on Friday, and you and I will see each other. Well, Tuesday, if Chisholm loses. If not, it'll be a while. But
that's going to be a great ball game between Chisholm and Adair.
It will be.
And, you know, I know how my son graduated from Alva. He had a big rivalry with a center fielder from Chisholm named Joe Capra. Those guys are now best friends. So, you know, between Alva and Chisholm, it's really hard to, it's really tough to say it, but I hope Chisholm goes all the way.
I know.
You know,
I've got to be
out of our district, and we're familiar with those people, and we see them all the time, and I really hope they do. I'll be rooting for them.
I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm with you on that regard. Ron, we appreciate it. Thank you,
all right,
sir.
thanks a lot.
Our thanks to Ron Sunderland again. He's going to be helping me call Ladybug and Goldbug basketball all season long. And once again, he will be the call for Friday night's game at Blackwell. Ladybugs tip off at 6:30, Goldbugs at 8. You can hear it right here on 1430 KALV. The online links will be available for that one as well. I, of course, will be heading to Arkansas tomorrow to cover Ranger basketball, so you can tune in for that. Rangers are going to be in Magnolia, Arkansas tomorrow as they take on Southern Arkansas. That's a 5:30 tip-off for the women, a 7:30 tip for the men. Our pregame show around 5 tomorrow. And, of course, Ladybug and Goldbug basketball Friday night in Blackwell. And then Saturday, I'll wrap up the Arkansas trip in Monticello, Arkansas, as the Rangers will take on Arkansas Monticello. 1 o'clock tip on Saturday for the women, 3 o'clock for the men. My pregame show will start at 12:30. So plenty of basketball coming your way over the next 3 days. We hope you will tune in. That's going to do it for our Alva High basketball preview show. Big thank you to Ladybug coach Dusty Horn, Jaden Hobbs, Whitney Randall. Great interviews. And then, of course, head coach Paul Duncan of the Goldbugs, Tevin Long, Jeremiah Bozeman joining me as well. And, of course, Coach Sunderland helping me out as usual. Big thanks also back in studio to Travis Harmon-Smith. Great job by him. And that's it. We'll wrap it up here from Champs Sports and Spirits. Have yourself a great Wednesday evening, and so long from Champs.